I've taken Stoic wisdom and tried to apply it to my own life.
So I've been on this journey studying Marcus Aurelius since I first read Meditations, and it changed my life.
Of Stoicism, which is becoming increasingly more and more important to apply in the new digital age.
And in this video, we're talking about 5 quotes from Stoicism that changed my life and that changed the life of my friend Sam.
So, many videos have been made about Stoicism. You don't have the time to watch them all, so here's the summary. The philosophy of Stoicism, Massimo Pigliucci. So, the video explains that the beginning of Stoic philosophy was made by Zeno of Cyprus, who lost all of his possessions around the year 300 BCE. After that, he began studying philosophy and teaching it to others. His way of thinking emphasizes virtue, tolerance, and self-control, inspiring many generations of thinkers and leaders. So, the Stoics believe that everything around us operates according to a web of cause and effect, resulting in the balance of the world called logos. So, Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control external events, we can always control our responses to it, focusing on our cardinal virtues, practical wisdom, temperance, justice, and courage. Stoics figures include Seneca, who advocates for humane treatment of slaves, and Marcus Aurelius, whose Stoic philosophy helped him to lead Rome through wars and personal tragedies. Marcus Aurelius wrote his thoughts in his personal journal, which is called Meditations. Also, the teachings of Stoicism influenced many people around the centuries, with connection to Christian theology, Buddhism, modern psychology, and self-help practices. So this video was a really nice introduction to the topic, so I'll give this one 5 stars. 9 Stoic Rules for a Better Life from Marcus Aurelius.
So I've been on this journey studying Marcus Aurelius since I first read Meditations, and it changed my life, and it's changed the life of millions of people in the 2,000 years since he lived. And in today's episode, I wanted to give you some of my favorite lessons from the one and only Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king. If you want to learn about the great principles and ideas that this man lived by, I think this video is for you.
Rule number 1 is to put people first, which he shares a story that Marcus Aurelius sold his possessions to 8 people of Rome during a plague that was devastating the city. Rule number 2 is that another path is always open. Stoic philosophy teaches that while obstacles may block one's path, they always open another. Rule number 3 is to take it step by step. Marcus emphasizes the importance of taking action right now rather than procrastinating, so you should start your things today and not tomorrow. Rule number 4 is to discard your anxiety, which he shares that anxiety has more to do with our internal mindset rather than external circumstances. Rule number 5 is well begun is half done. So Marcus had a disciplined morning routine, because he believed that if you start the day well, the day already has a tendency to be good. Rule 6 is to be strict with yourself, which is to always prioritize self-discipline. The rule 7 is don't resent people. While people can be frustrating, they also provide opportunities to practice virtues like patience, justice, and courage. So use interactions with difficult people to grow stronger. The rule 8 is to ask yourself, is this essential? Always ask yourself these important questions just to make sure that you are in the right direction. And the last rule is to remember these mantras, which are Amor Fati, which is about loving your fate, Act for the common good, which is that the true fruit in life is a good character, and Memento Mori, which is remembering that life is short. So I think that this video was really good. I like the insights. I'll give this one 4 stars. How Stoicism made me happier.
Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a doctor based in the UK, and in this video, we're talking about 5 quotes from Stoicism that changed my life and that changed the life of my friend Sam.
The first quote is, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within your control and some things are not. Ali relates this quote to the YouTube analytics, emphasizing that while he can control his content creation, the audience response is beyond his control. The second quote is that it is not events that disturb people, it's their judgments concerning them. Ali gives an example of feeling hurt by not being invited to a friend's party, only to later understand the context and feel better. The third quote is from Seneca, which is that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality, which is that we tend to make situations way worse in our heads, so try not to overthink stuff. Quote 4 is also by Seneca, which is that if you would not have a man flinch when crisis comes, train him before it comes. Ali explains that in medicine, they do simulations to prepare doctors for real emergencies, so you should be mentally prepared for adversities. And the last quote is from Epictetus, which is that when you are alone, you should call this tranquility and freedom. When you are with many, you shouldn't call it a crowd, or trouble or uneasiness, but festival and company, and contentedly accept it, which he explains that accepting situations leads to happiness. So this video had a nice reflection about the quotes, but I'm not sure if the quotes themselves had much of an impact on me. So I'll give this one 3 stars. Stoicism, an in-depth explanation.
If you read books like Marcus Aurelius' Meditations or older Stoic texts from the Greek world, you'll see that Stoicism is weird. It has strange views about God and logic, matter, the nature of the mind, what a good life is, and boiling it down to just a couple of inspirational quotes just really doesn't do it justice. So that's why I wanted to make this video. This is an in-depth explanation of Stoicism.
So this video explains other parts of Stoicism that I didn't even know existed. He explains that Stoicism is really divided in 3 parts, which are physics, logics, and ethics. He then explains that often when we hear about Stoicism, it's only about the ethics, because that's the part that focuses on living a good life. But besides that, Stoics had their own beliefs about the structures of the universe, God, epistemology, philosophy of mind, and language. So the ethics is the applied philosophy part of Stoicism, but the ethics is built on top of a lot of theoretical philosophy, which is nice to understand as well. So I really recommend this video to someone that wants to deepen their understanding about Stoicism and get to know the other parts of it. So I'll give this video 5 stars. The philosophy that changed my life.
Of Stoicism, which is becoming increasingly more and more important to apply in the new digital age. In this video, I'm going to take you through my personal experiences using Stoicism and how it's impacted my life, the top 5 principles from Stoicism that I took from reading several different books on it, and how you can apply these principles to your life as well.
The first rule he mentions is to develop an internal locus of control, which is about controlling the reactions of external situations. So he always believes that even when bad things happen to him, he thinks that there's a reason for that to happen, and focus on what good he can make of it, instead of getting angry at things. The second principle is to be wary of your limited time, sharing this nice quote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. So cut back on wasted hours of the day. The third concept is to remind yourself that you are going to die. The fourth principle is to live a virtuous life, which is about focusing on wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. And the last principle is that we can live happily in scarcity, saying that always aiming to have more things doesn't mean that you will live happier. So this video was somewhat really good. I'll give this one 4 stars. Marcus Aurelius, the man who solved the universe.
The philosopher Marcus Aurelius was one of the founding fathers of Stoicism, and he is famous for his book Meditations. The idea of being a great man is kind of nebulous, but there is perhaps no single person in history who has ever been more deserving of that title. This is not a self-help video, I promise you that, but the philosophy that Marcus pioneered and wrote about can be an antidote to so many of the problems that we encounter in modern life.
The video explained that Marcus Aurelius was really the most powerful man in the world. In this regard, Roman emperors would usually be hedonistic, engage in money, sex, wine, and any other pursuit that would occur to them. But despite having unlimited power and temptations, Marcus Aurelius chose to live a life of virtue and focus on being good. So the video provides a great reflection, asking you that if you were in his shoes and you had all the power to do anything you wanted in the world, would you really focus on being good even if you didn't have to? Then he explains a few of his reflections written in his personal diary. The first one is nature, which says that trees grow to their full potential, becoming as large and as beautiful as they can. And they do that not because they want external praise or validation. They do it because it's their inherent nature. It's their duty to follow this natural order. So Marcus believed the same thing can be said about us, that it's our duty to be the kindest and the most virtuous person possible. The second reflection is about people, which is to accept that bad people are part of life and focus on responding with kindness and understanding. And this idea is one of my personal favorites. The third reflection is about the future, which is about acknowledging that adversity is inevitable and focus on how to react to it. So don't complain when bad things happen because they're just part of life. The fourth reflection is on wealth. Even though Marcus was really wealthy, he was very conscious with the things he owned. And the last reflection is about death. Accept death as a natural part of life and not something to fear. It's something that is not on your control, so you shouldn't worry about it. So, this is one of my favorite videos about Stoicism, and I couldn't give this one nothing but 5 stars. And the last video in our list is Don't Learn About Stoicism from YouTube.
But the best way for you to learn about Stoicism is not through a YouTuber like me. It's not through podcast. Really, it's through reading books. It's by reading books by the Stoics and about Stoicism. So today I'm going to go through the kinds of books you'd want to read if you want to learn more about Stoicism.
The first recommendation here is a book called How to Be a Stoic by Massimo Pigliucci. The second book is Lessons in Stoicism by John Sellers. And then he starts to recommend the Stoics themselves, mentioning of course Meditation by Marcus Aurelius. Then he comes Enchiridion by Epictetus, which he says that it's his personal favorite. Also recommending one edition in particular, which is the Complete Works by Epictetus. From Seneca, he mentions the Letter from a Stoic, or also called Letters on Ethics. And the last recommendation is the book called That One Should Disdain Hardships by a Stoic called Rufus, who was the teacher of Epictetus. And as an honorable mention, he mentions the book called The Roman Stoics, The Morality of Happiness, and the Therapy of Desire. So this video was really nice, and I'm sure that they are really great for expanding the knowledge. So I'll give this one 5 stars. So many nice videos today, and I can say that Stoicism is such a great topic to think about. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel so I can keep saving you time, and give this video a like. See you guys in the next one.